Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and egg on my face, they dropped the patch notes for the Infinity, Ultron, and Thanos update much sooner than expected, basically 24 hours earlier than expected. So apologies for, I know, the earlier video today basically also making no sense because I'm reacting to the Ultron sneak peek, which, yeah, makes sense, but then I'm speculating on what his uniform is going to cost, etc. Meanwhile, at 3:30 in the morning, which is like a full 4.5 hours before my video drops, they decided to let everybody know, except me, because I was asleep. So yeah, that is very bizarre. If this is the new pattern, that's fine. I just want them to stick to it because they're all over the place these days, and it does make it difficult to not sound incoherent in your YouTube videos, which is actually not the vibe that I'm going for, despite the fact that I seem incoherent in my streams pretty much 24/7. So yeah, we have the patch notes here. Let's go through them. The patch is still going to be at the typical time for these mid-month updates, even though I believe the regular patch, like the official 7.5, which was Adam Warlock, Drax, and Gamora, was a day delayed because of maybe, I think, Lunar New Year. It was February 1st, February 2nd. But now we do have this March 1st patch details, so it's going to be landing on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. I really like these mid-month updates because they happen at a reasonable time, whereas the other updates usually end at 2 or 3 a.m. Eastern, which is not a reasonable time. So yeah, we're only about 36 hours away from, less than 36 hours away from the update. So that's very, very cool. Now, Ultron, we got our first look at Infinity Ultron and what this means for the upgrade. So this is going to be a uniform for Ultron. They actually have a typo here. There's a semicolon or a colon instead of an L. And typos are kind of the theme of these patch notes. So yeah, 1,000 crystals for the uniform is very cheap. However, I think that my fears are unfounded, or my fears from the earlier video were unfounded. I was saying if the uniform is really cheap, then the uniform effects are probably going to be really cheap and he's not going to be very strong. Oh, I think I was wrong about that. I think we're going to get the best of both worlds here, and this is going to be one of the most sought after uniforms in the game, period. Because, check this out. So his uniform effect gives him 15% chain hit and 40% increased damage when he's attacking non-machine characters. Now, it's mistranslated here. It says increases basic damage when attacking machine characters without skills. It sounds like he gets a 40% increase in his basic attack damage, which, as cool as the basic attack is for Ultron against Infinity Ultron, it's not going to, it's not going to be the case. So I think what this means is that he gets chain hit and then he gets increased basic damage versus any characters that are not machine types. So he sort of punishes the living because he's a robot that wants robo domination. So that sort of makes sense with Infinity Ultron's modus operandi. But yeah, it's mistranslated here, and this is basically the opposite, or sort of like the inverse of Magneto's passive, where he deals more damage to machine types. Ultron deals more damage to everybody but machine types, which means that uniform effect won't help him versus himself, versus Infinity Ultron World Boss Legend. It also won't help him versus Master Mold, but it will help him versus basically everything else, right? Where, especially PvP, where you have allies that are by and large not machine types. His leadership is now 55% increased attack to telekinetic allies. Again, there's a bit of a sort of quirky translation here. They use the word machine and they use the word technokinetic. It's the exact same thing. And I hammer this into people because they inevitably end up playing Dispatch. They inevitably look at the Dispatch quests and they says, oh, I have to use technokinetic allies? What does that mean? It means machine types. So all machine types get 55% increased attack. So I'm talking, War Machine, Iron Man, Hulkbuster, Superior Octopus, bunch of different characters are machine types. Some of them are good and some of them are okay. But yeah, the big one here is Infinity Ultron himself, right? He's going to be a machine type. He's machine and pure evil. So he's going to get that juicy 55%. And then his passives, look at this. 30% increased HP, which is very nice. 30% increased guaranteed crit and 50% increased crit damage. And then his tier 2 passive, 40% ignore dodge, 40% damage reduction, and then a skill damage bonus damage. Really, really nice base stats to go along with the pierce, with the chain hit and the basic damage. And I love the passive names: Ultron Fusion, Extinction of Mankind, and Suppression Order. Then as far as his skills go, they seem to be very PvE focused. So we kind of get a yin and yang for Ultron and Thanos, because spoiler alert, Thanos is pretty much screaming PvP at this point. But yeah, Ultron's got pretty low cooldowns, nothing above 16 seconds. He's got accumulation, he's got bleed, burn. He's also got time freeze on one of his skills. He's got immunity for 2 seconds there. He's got 5 seconds. 5 seconds of time freeze. That's more than Doctor Strange. He's got 3 seconds of paralysis with ignore immunity. He's got minus 50 all defense. He's got a 30% heal every 7 seconds, which is great, with invincibility, which also gives him super armor. And then he also has Doomsday Blow, giggity, which gives him a frenzy buff. So he's got a lot of really nice PvE abilities, but I'm really happy to see the passives. The passives, I think, are really what's going to carry him more than the skills, and I'm excited to see how strong he is. On the Thanos side of things, we have a massive upgrade for PvP, and he could still be good for PvE, but there's no question in my mind that he's going to be very good. And he came back. He's back to torment everyone in PvP. So he's got the higher cost uniform like Odin and Dormammu, etc., 1500 crystals, and then he gets a walloping, a walloping makeover. Basically, everything has changed. All his passives, his leadership, and his skills. So his uniform effect now gives him 5% pierce, which is crazy for PvE and PvP. Okay, so he's up there with the native tier 2s like Thena, etc. He gets 50% decreased damage received, and then when his HP is below 30, he pops a 70% heal on a 2-minute timer. So he's kind of got the Deadpool passive, where it's almost like a mini revive, where you're about to kill him and bloop, he's back to full health. That's crazy. Okay, so it gets crazier. He's got his ult here. I'm not really going to discuss it because I think it's by and large the same. His leadership, instead of being 36% attack, 36% defense, and 24 or 36% debuff duration decrease to villains, oh, it's changed now. All villain allies, when they are debuffed, remove debuffs for 12 seconds and increase attack and defense by 25%. That's big. That's very nice for PvP. Very, very nice. Now, his passive, let's talk about it. Mad Titan increases basic damage to heroes by 30%. Nice. That was on his uniform. They gave it to his passive. And then when he's hit, he gets a 20% heal with a 2-second cooldown. What? Bro, every 2 seconds, he's going to be healing 20%. You're going to have to chunk this boy down. You're going to have to burst him down, because if you're trying to take it slow, Gilgamesh is never going to kill this dude. Drax is supposed to be able to kill him, but Drax ain't never going to kill this dude. With 50% damage reduction, you got to be out of your mind. Okay, but it gets better. He has a V-pad skill on his first. He's got remove all buffs on his second. He's got a frenzy buff on his third skill. And look at the cooldown times. 12 seconds, 10 seconds, 13 seconds, 13 seconds, 15 seconds. Very, very short cooldown. So he's not going to charge his tier 3 quickly, but he's going to spam you with skills quickly. And he's going to be constantly pressing skills, which is very nice. His fourth skill, Titan Blast. Oh, yeah. Iframe ignore. Oh, yeah. PvP. Yum, 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 yum. Fracture, penetration, invincibility, immunity to debuffs for 3 seconds. Now, it's interesting here. Immunity to debuffs for 3 seconds. This is a different wording than debuff immunity. Immunity to debuffs. Again, it could be, it's absolutely possible that this is a typo and they mistranslated it and it's supposed to be debuff immunity. Or they're introducing a new type of immunity that also is immune to Spider-Man's webbing and the mockery effect. Because currently there are 2 effects in the game. There's the mockery taunt and there is Spider-Man's webbing that ignores the regular debuff immunity. But maybe we're getting a bit too hopeful for Thanos. He's still very, very strong without this. And then Obsidian Bombardment has all defense down, incapacitation, fear, and then another damage buff. Oh, hold on. There's another buff here. I didn't read this carefully. Excluding bosses ignores enemies' damage decrease by 30%. Bro, what? So he's got the Spider-Man passive. The red suit, No Way Home Spider-Man passive, where it ignores their damage decrease. Wow, dude. That is toxic. Wowee. Thanos is just going berserk, dude. Absolutely berserk. That's wild. And then we have Ultron's new tier 3 skill. He drops a bunch of bombs on you, and then he blasts you with a purple beam. I love it. Purple's my favorite color. The effects look pretty okay. He's got a damage proc there. He's got 70% chance to penetrate. Yeah, it's going to be a PvE tier 3 in my opinion. I hope so. It looks very much like Sharon Rogers tier 3, etc. Rage of Ultron, but I think it'll be really cool. And then Thanos' new artifact is pretty garbage, which is really good news for players who like PvP and don't like artifacts. His artifact gives him instinct crit damage, and then ignore dodge, 15%. But he already has... Actually, he doesn't have ignore dodge. So yeah, maybe you want to counter him, excuse me, with someone with very high dodge. I wonder who has very high dodge in Marvel Future Fight. I'm not really sure who that could be. Oh, one more thing. I was thinking about this in my head. I was like, I forgot one of Thanos' passives. Check this out. His tier 2 passive. I didn't read this. This is crazy. Skill damage, bonus damage. Increases damage dealt to targets with debuff removal effect by 80%. Pardon me? Increases damage dealt to targets with remove all debuffs effect by 80%. Again, the translation's a little bit weird. What's the difference between debuff removal and remove all debuffs? Is one a leadership and one is like active on a skill? I'm not 100% sure. But the fact that he gets an 80% increase on top of all the other buffs, right? The increase, the 30% increased damage to heroes, the pierce, bruh. Sentries on Death Watch. This is gonna be crazy, bro. The year of the villains, I'm guessing. Year of the... was I wrong? Is it not the year of the mutants? It's the year of the villains. Maybe. That's absolutely wild. Okay, so there's Thanos. There's the uniform collection. So once again, people were theorizing, and they were correct. If the uniform collection is not out yet, then the update is not over, and we're still going to get more things. Because people were saying... I was panicking, rightfully. So, after the Echo update... the update's over. There's nothing else coming. It's just Echo for 3 weeks, and then we're gonna have the new update. But people are like, no, there's no uniform collection for Adam, Drax, and Gamora, so they have to be releasing something else. And yeah, you are absolutely right. And then they got some game error fixes that are by and large meaningless to the game. Like these are just very, very straightforward. So yeah, there's a bunch of events to celebrate Ultron, Infinity Ultron, and Infinity Thanos coming to the game. I know I called Infinity Ultron and Infinity Thanos, but man, it's hard to keep it up because they're both infinity. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of these patch details. I'm very excited, but the patch is not coming tonight. Again, I have to stress this. They released the patch notes a day early, which is cool. That's fine, but it's confusing. So in 36 hours, in about 36, 34 hours, 33 hours, the patch should be live. And I will be on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cynicalex. I'll be playing some Elden Ring, and then as soon as this is live, I will be jumping into MFF to test everything out, and to Tier 3 Ultron. We must Tier 3 Ultron. So yeah, all robots must be Tier 3. I don't know. Anywho, thanks so much for watching. Second video of the day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.